In this video, we're going to model a simple hypar sail. We're going to assume the hypar is connected with links to round corner clamp plates and that a single wire edge cable transitions around each of the corner clamp plates. The intention here is to determine the exact cable length so that we can pre-install the cable prior to installation on site, or alternatively we can mark the cable to the correct length to simplify the task for the installers, to make sure that they lock the cable off at the correct length and that the edge cable is performing its task from the initial installation and the correct pre-stress targets are achieved. So to build this hypar, we're going to use the model builder tool, draw a hypar. We're going to simulate a round end, and we're going to specify the link length to be 200 millimeters and the width to be 100 millimeters. Just to zoom in on this and understand these values, the width of the clamp plate is the diameter, and the link length is also taken from the connection point to the center of the round disc, whether this is a steel clamp plate or a round ring. So you need to adjust for the distance from the center of the clamp plate to the actual connection point. I'm simply using 150 millimeters to the edge plus 50 millimeters to get the 200 millimeter link length from the connection point to the center of the clamp plate. So to reproduce this, we run the Draw Hypar tool with these settings. We run the Model Builder tool, left click, and follow the instructions. In AutoCAD they're at the bottom left or center, and in Rhino there typically the commands are up the top left. So follow the bottom left going anti-clockwise, bottom right, top, and left. Now we don't actually need this 3D polyline because we've got corner posts as 3D polylines. So when we use the hypar tool, it automatically introduces a 3D polyline around the perimeter. Now we can see, besides the mesh, we also have links that have been automatically added, and we can see when we look at the properties for the link, it's a line and it's 200 millimeters long. I'm going to select everything and relax as a cable edge mesh. Now when we go to plan view, we'll see that the link length, this is the original length here, and this is the new adjusted link length. Now we can look at the properties for this link length. I'll select it individually. We can see it's 93 in round figures long. Alternatively, we can right click on the gear icon here, get the extended data for this link. And this is where we see where MPanel has assigned special properties to the link. It's defined as an adjusted length link with an original 200 millimeters of length, which, if you recall, is from the connection point to the center of the round plate, and that the plate is round and has a width of 100 millimeters. Now when we scroll down a little further, we can see some extra information. Here the edge correction and the round correction. So this is how we calculate the amount we subtract from the edge cable lengths and that we add back on to go around the clamp plate. And obviously that will change depending on the corner angle for each corner. And the last piece of information is the link offset of 107 millimeters. And that is the difference between the original 200 millimeter link length and the link length of this shortened or adjusted link length, which we originally looked up at 93 millimeters. So 93 plus 107 is our specified 200mm original length. We'll see this in a little more detail in a second. The next step in the process is to convert this mesh into panels, as well as extract information about the mesh, the links, and the cables. Now to do that, I'll make a copy so that we can replicate these steps. Firstly, we'll take the mesh and simply extract the edges. So we use the mesh to poly conversion, and we select just the edge polylines, select OK, and then left click on the tool to run the tool, delete old, and here we've got the individual edge cable lengths from point to point. We can see it's 6139. Now we're also going to select the whole model, so this includes the posts, the links and the mesh, and we're going to run the report for physical model report. Notice the information window below the toolbar is expanded automatically, and we're provided with some additional information here. I'll paste that into the drawing so we can look at it together with the model. So if we zoom in on some of this detail, we can see the area of the sail is 27.93 square meters, and that corresponds with this information from the information bar. The projected area is slightly less, so this is the surface area. The projected area is because the sail is a hypar, has a slightly larger surface area than projection. The total cable length is 24,556. Now that is the individual edge lengths. We see here 6139, which is exactly the same as the information we picked up by extracting the point-to-point edge length, 6139. And if we multiply that by 4, that will be the total cable length. We're also then provided with the corrected cable length of 24,233. This is the length that you would mark on the cable, plus whatever overlap length that you want to add. For example, if you were to add an extra meter on each end of the cable for adjustment, just to use round figures, then this cable would be cut to 26,233, and you would mark with a piece of tape a meter in from both ends, feed the cable through the finished sail, and make sure that the two pieces of tape overlapped each other, and then lock the cable off. Now coming back to the link offset, just to explain this a little further, the original link length was 200mm, and we have a link in this model here of 93mm. Subtracting 93 from 200 gives us 107, which was the link offset number we saw in the extended data. If I add a radius here of exactly 107, and then use the trimming tool to trim the unused part, I can then take this circle, which represents our clamp plate, exactly 100mm diameter, and move this to the center of that arc, and you can see it perfectly fits inside the edges. So the edge cable will hit the tangent of the clamp plate in both directions, and the adjusted cable length is the difference from this point here where the cable touches the clamp plate to the point and then back again is subtracted, and we add on the extra length to go around the clamp plate. Thank you for watching. For more information, please contact support@mpanel.com.